Welcome to AMM 101 Fashion Industry Designer/Brand Research Report Explanation. This is an individual assignment and it's worth 40 points. This is due week 6 on a Tuesday, February 6th, 2018 by the beginning of class. So that's 11 a.m. and at 11 a.m. both the hard copy and electronic copy are due. Electronic copy has to be in a Word or PDF format only. Hard copy needs to be stapled, no folded corners, no paper clips, etc. So basically you're going to be selecting a designer or a brand because certain brands have multiple designers. And you're going to conduct research on that particular designer brand. Students will then write a biographical term paper on their life and career and submit that. Now, why are you doing this? The whole point is to basically refine your research skills and be able to communicate your findings, be able to elaborate things in your own words and know when to source, and also really see a person's influence on this particular industry. So you're going to really see that no one has it easy. Even the most successful designers have struggled. They've been rejected by someone or some company, and hopefully appreciate their influence and what they've contributed to this industry. So how you're going to do is you're going to select one designer from this list right here. Now, if you want someone that's not on this list, you need my permission. The reason I don't recommend that is that in the past, students insist on doing like a younger, up-and-coming designer, and there just isn't enough information on their life. Also, because they're young and they're still starting out, you don't know ultimately what their influence is going to be in this industry. So select one from the list, please. That's much better. Also, if you decide to select a designer not on the list, I'm just not going to grade it, so unless you have my permission. So make sure that you get permission or please select from the list. It is a first come, first served basis, so maximum of 3 students per designer. So you can email me, tell me before or after class. I already have one person doing Zach Posen, for example, so I'll be updating the list under announcements. Please do your research thoroughly. You need 4 sources minimum. Wikipedia does not count. Your paper has to be at least 5 pages long. That does not include cover page or bibliography. However, that can include and does include pictures. I've had them much longer than that. I've had them about 5 pages. Content is critical. You need to be able to do your research and actually say things in your own words. If you do a direct quote, you need quotation marks and then parentheses the source of the quote. If you're just getting specific information, again, you have to source in the text of the paper. If you don't do that, that's plagiarism. And I have caught plagiarism for this assignment. If you get caught with plagiarism, it's an automatic 0. Have to notify the department chair. It's uncomfortable for everybody. Just don't do it. Just make sure you put things in your own words. And when you do a direct quote, quotation marks. Also, the entire paper can't be just quotes, which I've gotten. That's also a 0 because you didn't write a paper. I might as well just look at the source. So you have to actually do your research and write an actual paper. What information you need? Under format, you need place and date of birth, overview of their childhood or early life, areas of study, where they worked and for whom, if they've had internships, who were their mentors, how did the designer become famous? What are their key signature looks? Where do they get their inspiration from? What product does the designer focus on? Are there different lines or different price points? Like, do they have couture, ready to wear? Do you have any licensing like cosmetics or fragrances? Any interesting tidbits on the designer's life? Like they were, alive during World War II or some involved in a controversy, for example. If they've already passed away, the date and cause of death. And if they did die, who's the primary designer now or design director? Or, is the line still existing or is it not? What's going on with that current brand? Include a photograph of the actual designer and at least 10 pictures of the designer's work. Now, that means a minimum of 11 pictures. The designer's picture does not get included in the 10 that I need. Now, these 10 pictures need to be labeled with dates like, autumn 1999. You need to indicate where the picture's from. In other words, the date and the, usually it's a runway, but it could be an ad picture as well. And it's items they're known for, like the quilted chain bag or, quilted, fabric or the new look or something that they're known for. Okay, so key signature looks. It can't just be the last fashion show and just 10 pictures of their last fashion show. That's not going to work. So it must be from different years. Again, make sure that you label the pictures. Make sure that you, if they help develop a trend, make sure that you mention that. Again, don't just take pictures from their current grouping, the current line. Now, if they cause a big stir on their last collection, you can include a picture of that, obviously. You need to include your rubric, which is given to you. So it looks like this. Make sure you print in landscape mode. Electronic copy doesn't need the rubric, but the hard copy does. So make sure you include that. Make sure you look at the rubric as you're doing your assignment so that you're doing this correctly. Also make sure, again, that you cite your sources within the text, and make sure that you proofread, that you use professional language. Wanted to show you an example of a report so you can kind of get an idea. So there's a cover page. This is kind of plain. Usually we like to see a graphic, but you don't have to. There's a picture of the designer. I would definitely label, like she didn't label the picture. Obviously I know who it is, but it's nice to label the picture. In terms of the information, also I recommend headings. Now how you want to do that is up to you. See how she did this, like early life, or you can do humble beginnings. I've had students where it was an Italian designer, so they did these headings in Italian. That's fine too. But see how it's like early life and talks about their early life and childhood, then education, then job experience. You can do that. Okay, do nice headings, very clear, and then give me the information that I need. See how the picture is labeled? That's what you need to do. Also make sure the picture is big enough that I can see what we're looking at. I've seen thumbnails where I don't know what I'm looking at. It's too hard to see, so make sure that the image is clear and that I can actually see what I'm looking at. Don't warp the image. That makes it hard to see as well. Where should you put the pictures? It's up to you. You can sprinkle it within your paper. I have students doing that sometimes. They like doing that. Others like to wait till the end of the paper after the content to put all the pictures. Like if you see this example, she kind of put it in the middle of the paper and she just had to label this last picture. See, and there's her works cited page. Works cited bibliography page should be an APA format. I'll take MLA as well, but it should be APA. But just make sure, again, that you reference your sources within the text. So if there's C quotation marks, make sure you have your quotation marks on there, and that that we see where the source of your information came from. Okay. If you have any questions, please email me or ask me before or after class. And again, first come, first serve. So as soon as a designer is chosen, I'm going to be putting it under announcements, and that way you can see which designers are available and which ones are not. Okay? Good luck. I hope you learn a lot from this assignment, and thank you for listening.